Good morning, guys. It is Friday morning or noon. When I woke up today, I just felt really rubbish. I think I'm having a cold coming on because I woke up with a really bad ache in my ear. So we'll see what will happen with the rest of my body. Yeah. At the moment, I do have a lot of pain, so I don't know really where it's from or where it comes from, but that's how it is. I have started my morning. I actually went up pretty okay time, and kind of had an idea that I was supposed to be working today, and then I realized like half an hour in that like I'm not comprehending stuff. This is not working, and it doesn't sometimes. So instead of forcing it and feeling bad about it, I'm doing a sick day. The pain is too much. So I have actually been knitting today. And I'm not going to show you now because I have to kind of back knit a couple of rows and figure things out. I'm knitting with my handspan, the first bout of handspan I did, and I'm doing a hat, and that is why my hair looks crazy because I'm trying it on all the time. I'm doing a hat. It's not enough for the hat. I do have an idea of how to finish it off because I do have some yarn that I can use for this. So I have an idea on how to finish it off in the end. I need to knit backwards a couple of rows because I've done a lot of decreases. And yeah, I'm just kind of figure things out while I'm going. I don't have a pattern at all. I wanted to have some sort of patterned knitting, so I do have that, but nothing else. Basically, I saw a similar-ish hat on Ravelry. For two reasons, I chose not to go with that pattern. One being that it was like €6.50 for the pattern, and I'm trying to do crafts a little bit more on the budget side. And the other thing is I would probably need to change it a lot because I don't have a set yarn thickness. Like this handspan, it was my first handspan. It's so uneven. It's so uneven. It's scary how uneven it is. But it's fun to knit with because it's my first handspan and it's actually knitting up pretty beautiful even though it's pretty uneven. So yeah, I'm gonna show you that later. I'm watching a whole bunch of knitting podcasts. Both ones I actually do have in my subscription, but I'm also doing a little bit of hopping. Some people talking about their like new podcasts and other favorite podcasts. So I'm watching them. A knitting podcast is everything between half an hour and an hour. So there is very long episodes. One of the things I really like about the knitting podcasts is that it is centered around the projects. One of the reasons why I kind of gotten out of looking at Flosstube is that many Flosstubers are centered around their hauls. Because you not always get that much progress on a cross stitch. If you're doing knits, you can actually get a lot more progress. You can see much more. And also you can actually kind of show off things multiple times because you do first you have when you're knitting it, and then when you have knitted it, you have an episode where you show that. And then several episodes later, you always can have the kind of what I'm wearing part. So I don't know, they feel a bit different in that way that the community is different in the knitting podcasts. I don't know. It might just be that I'm very into knitting at the moment, and also that I'm having a very hard time cross-stitching and watching things at the same time, while I'm having a lot easier knitting and watching things, because I usually don't need to look at my hands when I knit that much. So yeah, but that is what I'm doing right now. My project for the next half an hour or so is actually to get one of my balls of wool untangled, because I have a tangled mess in the plastic box in front of me, and in there I have a wool silk blend that I used to knit a shirt. It is kind of a, it's not black, it's probably like slate grey or something like that, and I'm gonna combine that with my blue yarn, or my dark teal yarn for my new hat. So I need to get that ball of yarn ready to play with. So that is what I'm going to do for the next half an hour, I don't know how long it's gonna take, and then I'm gonna finish my hat. But good morning guys, I hope you have an awesome day. My day slowly going forward. Basically I don't think there is much change. I'm still in a lot of pain, and when I'm in pain I try to do stuff, because when I do stuff it's not as noticeable. It's not that the pain disappears, I still have the tiredness, and if you are noticing also the speech problems are coming today because of the increased amount of pain. So I have figured that my speech issues and so on are basically my body not having enough resources when they're dealing with pain, sadly enough. But yeah, I have been knitting. I actually tore up my hat, or I basically almost, I had finished it, but it was a little bit too small, so it couldn't really cover my ears. So I was happy I hadn't cut off the thread or anything, so I just knitted backwards, basically almost down to like a third. So I had a third of the hat left, and then I continued knitting. So here is my knit, because I didn't show you before. This is the beautiful knit, and I'm sorry about the light, but I'm sitting in the sofa and I'm having a really rough day, so I'm not going to go in anywhere where it's better light. But it's basically a very beautiful dark teal, which I really love. Yeah, my fingers are actually swollen today. They usually aren't, but they are, and they're getting more and swollen, so we'll see what that will happen. But I have knit this. It's just going to be a little mini hat. It's not going to be big, but I have an idea, because I have an issue, and that is this is all the yarn that is left. I can't buy any new one because this is my own spin. I could buy the wool, but then my hat wouldn't be done. So when I started cleaning out my big bag of yarn, I found this, and this is, I think it's a, I'm not sure. It might actually be a wool soy blend. I have to look that up, but it's called Bris. It's by Gestal. I think it's actually Norwegian from the beginning. It actually has a Swedish. This was all this was left. I've had a kitty bite on it stuff. But yeah, so this is the yarn. And I had a really rough time finding this because they had stopped producing it. I made a shirt and I bought a certain amount of yarn for that shirt, and then I realized I needed one ball more and I couldn't find them. I even tried going with just a wool blend for the arms, which looked terrible. So in the end I actually did find somewhere, after looking for like 30 different stores, I found one that had like 2 balls left, so I bought them. So I have a little bit of this left. I actually have a bigger ball also, and 2 small ones, because I think Gizmo has been in this ball. But yeah, it's very soft, and I'm gonna top the hat with it, and then I'm gonna do a big ball. I usually don't have big balls, but I'm gonna do one of those fluffy balls on the end of the hat. It's the idea. And it's going to be a really big bowl, so we're going to see how that will look. But yeah, that is the idea. So that is what I'm doing. And I'm watching like all of the knitting podcasts because I am just in love with knitting podcasts right now. I don't know, it's a very soothing thing. I think it is a little bit like ASMR, but with people talking. And I'm feeling quite alone when I'm home and feeling this sick. So, kind of nice. I also wanted to talk to you about my diet. I haven't really talked about my diet because I've been cheating on it quite a lot. I haven't added a whole bunch of new things, but I did have issues with keeping away from sugar. I'm sorry, Gizmo came. He's gonna be here on my side. So, no. But I started eating sugar again, which was an issue. And then it was hard. Sorry, I have a kitty. He lies on my computer. But anyhow, I started eating badly. Not seriously badly, but a bit badly. And instead of making my smoothies, I just had bananas. And instead of having something good, I had like eggs for lunch. So, and I have gotten worse in lists of allergies, which is quite nice. And then, but I'm gonna keep away from it a little bit. So I'm back on making smoothies. And yesterday I made a smoothie and it tasted funny. First I thought it was the coconut oil I had in it that was bad, which it probably was, but I actually realized today it was my acai berry powder that has gone bad. I opened a new bag and smelled it, and it smelled so much nicer. So I threw away the rest of the one that smelled like crap, and I have made a new smoothie. I use orange juice in my smoothies because I can't have apple juice. And I tried to make a not so cold one, or not so icy, so it's more runny than the other ones. But I think I got it quite a lot because I kind of poured 2 bags of frozen berries in it, a little bit more than I usually do. But yeah, so berries and juice and that acai berry thingy, and then I'm gonna buy a new coconut oil, because you're supposed to have like a teaspoon of coconut oil in it. It's good. It's a good fat, and it's a good way to eat it, and it's good for your digestive system and such. So that's the idea. I'm gonna have more of those. Now that I also know that my mixer can be run through my machine, I don't have to clean it every time, which makes things a little bit easier. But yeah, I am gonna finish off my hat and watch some YouTube, I think. But yeah. Gizmo came and lay down. He's like, Mommy, I need you. Here. Look, it's got really nice colors when he's there. Yeah. And now he turns orange. I like this camera. I need a new one. My hat is all done. It's actually quite nice. It's not that itchy, this yarn of mine. So I'm very happy. That I got my hat done. So now I have a winter hat for when it gets cold again. Right now it's raining outside. It's time to head to bed, and I have like just a minute or two left on my memory card. Then I have to switch it out, and it's late, so I don't have time to transfer my clips. So I'm just gonna say goodnight. But I did get one thing. Look, I got. We went to the Disney store today. Christopher and I went to eat at the Mall Scandinavia because we didn't really want to cook. So we went to Disney, and I got this one. I really want to be able to go to the real Disney and go to all the fun things. But yeah, me and the kitties are wiped out, so we are heading to bed. So good night, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Bye!